Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and I wanted to do a little project with you today. This is the mini album, one of the mini albums that I've been promising you. But first off, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you get lots of junk mail and you have all of these envelopes that you just toss in the garbage? I did for a long time. I don't throw them away anymore because I'll show you why. I like to upcycle anything that I can, just simply because all of this that we throw away is going in our landfills, and our kids and grandkids eventually are going to have to deal with this one day. So I try to use everything that I can, and what I don't, I either shred or we incinerate or send it to the recycle company. But if you will, and then also tons and tons of paper scraps. When I make projects, I always have paper scraps left over. So I'm going to show you how to take some of your paper scraps and these envelopes and make a beautiful mini album that has pockets with tags, where you can put pictures, and I just used my scraps on this, but once I put my pictures in here, nobody will ever know that these were scraps. I just picked some that kind of coordinated, some of the same colors, blues and greens and pinks, that kind of thing, the floral design. And then this is just some cardstock that I had left over. I inked my edges. This is just a cutout that I had left over, and then I put some Wink of Stella on there, and I'm not sure that you can see the glitter. There we go. And I just put some ribbon on it. This is a little die cut that I cut out using my one of my metal dies, and that is it. And I finished the back. I'm going to write a little sentiment right here. I just think they're adorable, and they do, you know, the pages do bend up, so I didn't tighten it real tight so that you could have plenty of room to put your embellishments, and you can always put your, you know, write a sentiment or whatever on those cards and put those back down in there. And there was one in that one. I think it fell out. But I just think they're cute. I've made a few of these before for a retreat that we had, and gave each one to some of the ladies at the retreat. They would be really good to make up ahead of time in certain themes or whatever you wanted to do to, let me turn my phone off, sorry about that, to use for a craft sale, just anything. I mean, gifts. They're absolutely adorable, and they're easy and fun to make. So let me show you how. I take just a stack of my envelopes that it doesn't matter if they have these plastic windows in them or not, because we're going to cover it all with paper. But I take a stack of them. I've already cut these. I think I only used, let's see, I used 1, 2, 3, 4 in this one. And you know, I've got 8 pages front and back, so. Alright, I take the, and I make sure, now this is the only thing that you kind of have to make sure of, that they're all the same width. It doesn't matter what the length is, because you can adjust that, but make sure they're all the same width. This way. You know, I just separate mine out into different sizes, because you can make mini albums for the large ones, small ones, whatever. Take it and fold it in half, and just mark your center. And then I put it in my paper cutter, and I just cut down that center mark, and let me make sure that I get it about to the center. And I put them together. Let me make sure that yeah, this is the same size as the rest of them. If you have an envelope that's a little bit longer when you cut it in half, then just trim it off. Just trim all of them off to fit for your length now. So you got your width, and then trim them all to your length. Now, I should have said, before you trim them, before you cut them in half, make sure that you go ahead and close up the envelope. So I just used a glue stick. You could use the glue that's on the envelope. It doesn't matter, because you're going to put paper on this anyway, so it's going to be doubly sealed. Okay, then you're going to put them down. And of course you're going to make sure that all of your envelopes are going the same way, that all your openings are on the same end. So we'll get rid of that cutter for a minute. I don't think we need that right now. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is take your scoreboard and you're going to score, put these in with the closed end to the side, and you're going to score at 1/2. So you're going to do all of those at 1/2. Okay, so we have all of them scored at 1/2 inch. Now, since everybody's envelopes are going to be a different size, I'm going to show you how. I've shown you how to adjust your envelopes, and now I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get the outside or your cover the right width and length. Alright, so you can measure your envelopes and do it that way, or do like I do, and that's just lay it down and mark it. You know I hate to measure, so anytime I can get away from measuring, I do. Alright, you want to make sure that you have just a little bit of room, maybe 1/8 of an inch on both sides of your envelope. So I'm going to mark that right there. And then I'm going to mark right here. That's not where I'm going to cut, but that's going to show me that that's the end of this envelope. And then I'm going to leave, I want about, I think on this one, I left 1/4 of an inch to be my binding. So I want to leave about 1/4 of an inch. So let me get my ruler. And I'm going to go down from there 1/4 of an inch right there. So I think that will be enough. Let me make sure that's what I left. Yes, 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this back down on here again. And I'm going to go to this end, and I'm going to leave just a little bit. So leave about 1/8 of an inch all the way around on your envelopes. So if you want to do your measuring, then what you would do is measure your envelope's length. And mine is 4 and looks like mine is 4 1/4. I hate that ruler. I can't see it when the light's glaring on it. Let me get my Tim Holtz ruler. Okay, here we go. So mine is little dab over 4 1/4, and it is 3 7/8 in the width. So if you want to measure, do that. Measure your envelope, or your half of your envelope, double it, and then add about 1/4 of an inch on, or a little bit over 1/4. That'll give you plenty of room for your cutting, for your edges, and then for your scoring, to have you a little bit of a binding. So I'm just going to do mine like I did before. I just marked it. That's all I did. And then I'm going to cut right down through there. Okay. And this was a scrap piece that I had left as well, even though it doesn't look like a scrap piece, it is. And then I had my other mark right here. So I'm going to cut it right there. And then that should get me the size that I need. So there would be where my envelope would lay. There would be my binding there. And then there is my other end. So now we're going to put it on our scoreboard. And since I marked where I wanted my scores, I can just go by those lines. But if you didn't mark yours, then of course you're going to go to the center, find your center, and then go 1/8 of an inch on each side of your center, and that'll be your 1/4 of an inch. But I hope that made sense. So I would find my center. So mine is 9 1/8. So that would be 4 1/16. My center would be right there, which is exactly right. If I go 1/8 on this side, I'm going to score it right there. And if I go 1/8 on that side, then I'm going to score right there. So that was exactly right to give me that 1/4 inch for my binding part. So there we go, and I'm going to erase these little marks because I actually put them on the wrong side. Okay, so that is all the scoring that we're going to do on that right this minute. Now I'm going to go ahead and round off my corners on here. Then I also go ahead and round my corners off on my envelopes. This just makes everything look a lot more uniform. I'm going to straighten this one up just a tiny bit. Seems that I didn't cut exactly right. So it, you know, rounding your corners is up to you, but this, to me, it just makes everything look more uniform. It looks more like a page, and it doesn't have those sharp, I don't like the sharp edges on things, so that's why I do it. But there again, this is up to you. I'm giving you the general idea of how to put it together, and then you can adapt from there. Now I am also going to put my little tab in the center of these. Now I don't, here again, I don't measure. Make sure that you're putting your tab in the open end. This punch is an old Creative, not Creative Memories, but EK Success punch, and it doesn't work that well. It's not very sharp anymore, so I can't punch through 2 or 3 layers of paper with it, and this is the only 1-inch punch that I have. But if you have a good punch that will punch through all your layers, you can do this last. Wait until you cover these with your paper and then do your punching. Like I said, mine won't go through all of it, so I have to punch twice, but you know, that's okay. We have all those finished, all of our little pull tabs punched, and now what you need to do is you're ready for your paper. And I am going to be using some just scraps of paper that I had left over from another project. They're all from the same collection pack, but they are different. So this is what I'm going to be using. And I will show you how I do the paper. But here again, if you want to measure and cut, that is strictly up to you. But this is the way that I do it. And to me, it works out just as fast. I just take my glue and I cover the entire envelope because these envelopes are white and I don't particularly want any of the white showing, but I go around them with my ink. I ink them up, the edges. So I fix my paper to where it comes all the way to the edge, all the way around. So I just lay my paper down, whatever side I'm starting with. And then I put that on top just like that. Press it down. And yes, I'm using the art glitter glue. You can get this glue and the fine tip in our shop. Someone had asked me that question and I haven't had a chance to answer it yet. But the shop link is below this video. And we sell both. I just placed another order for refills today. So you can come in and grab all you need. We have the 2-ounce, 4-ounce, and the refills, and the fine tip. Okay, so this is the way I do. Like I said, you can measure and cut them all and then put them all down if you want. I just found it's just about as fast for me to do it this way. Just make sure that your edges are, you know, right up to the edge of the envelope, because you do want to cover up any black like that or anything. And then after I get that on there, again, I have to go back and punch my little tab. Now you wouldn't have to do this if you have a punch that is good, that will punch all the way through. I don't have, and then I round my corners. So there I've got one page, one side of one page done, all except a little bit, you know, any decorating that I might want to do. Now I save these, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes I go ahead and I cover the inside, just a little bit of the inside of the envelope, where when it is opened up, that they don't see that. I'll show you how to cover them, but I'm not going to cover all of mine that I have, but I will show you how to do it in case you want to. Now, you don't have to cover all the way down inside of it. All you need to do is get a little bit of paper, you know, down so far that when someone is looking at the envelope that way, that's what they're going to see. So what I do is I save all of these little pieces, and I put them in at an angle just to make sure that they're going to fit, and that one does. So I take my glue and I run some on the back side of it. Doesn't matter if you get it exactly right or not. You can always go back in there and glue later. And then I put that down in there as far as it'll go, and still have me a little, you know, still cover some of that envelope on the inside. And you see I put glue way too much. And then I just trim. I trim that off. And then I do my punch again. Of course, I have to punch it again and again. And so now when someone opens that just a little and looks, they see that cover instead of, and you know, you could have cut this to where it would actually fit, where this side would have gone on down further. I don't find the need for that since I'm putting the little tickets in there anyway, but that's up to you. So if I want to cover this side, I can do that right there, put that one in there, and I'll just go ahead and trim this off just to, there, you can do that. So we'll put a little bit of glue on the back. Don't worry about cutting it to fit. Just put it down in there and then trim your paper after you get it in there. Okay. Then just press that down. And I like the art glitter glue because it dries really quickly. So therefore there's no waiting on that to dry. Then just trim that off. And then punch and we'll hold out again. And then I have that covered to a point that once I get my tag in there, that no one's going to be the wiser that that was an old envelope. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. Here again, I'm just going to lay my paper down. And if you want it, if you have a directional paper, just make sure that you're putting the right direction the right way. And what I do is make sure that you're putting your glue right up to the edge of these if you're doing it this way. I'm going to trim that right there off. And then I lay this down. And you know, if there's a straight edge, then I try to use that straight edge to my advantage by putting the two sides that I have up to that straight edge so that I don't have to cut it again. So I don't have to cut too many times. And then I just cut up and cut it across. And then you can use your, if it'll go in there. Mine won't go in, so I'll just trim off my corners this way. Not a big deal. Once you have one to go by, it's not that hard to do the rest of them. So there we go. We've got that. And then punch my little tab out. Oops. Punch your little tab, and there is your first page. It's that simple. You're not, once you ink the sides, you're not going to see any envelope anywhere. Once you get your tag in there, you're not going to see any envelope down in there. So you have a perfect page ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and ink it while we're on camera, and then I will probably go off and do my other pages, and then I'll come back and show you how to put it together. So I am inking this with Wilted Violet, one of my favorite colors. I ink all the way around and down into that little pull tab there. This paper has some glitter on it, so the ink is not going to stick to that glitter paper, but that's okay with me. And then I ink the other side as well. Making sure that I get right in the edges so that my ink will go down in there and there's not going to be any envelope that's going to show. And there you go. There is your first page completed and ready for your little tab ticket thing to stick down in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these pages off camera because you know how to do your pages. You know how to cover them with paper. And then I will be back and we'll put it together. Okay, so we got all of these covered with our paper and got our corners rounded, the little slot cut out, and then we got all of them inked. Now what you're going to do is put it back on your scoreboard, and you're going to go back and reinforce that score line. It'll be a little bit harder, and this is sort of like the little notebook that I made, or little mini album thing I made a few weeks ago, but I used the envelope punch board on that one. On this one, you don't have to use the envelope punch board. You're using envelopes that you've got through the mail that are just going to be tossed away, because there's a lot of people that don't have the envelope punch board. So this is just an easy way to make a little mini album for a gift, or for a friend, for a teacher, whatever. And you don't have to use the envelope punch board. It's very, very cheap, inexpensive. You're using your scraps, and you're using up those old envelopes that you're just going to toss. Okay, we got those kind of sort of scored, and I go ahead and just press them up a little bit. Just kind of break that paper in a little so that it will fold when I get it in there. So they'll all flip back and I can look through them. Alright, now what you want to do is punch holes so that we can put our ribbon through. And we're going to use our crocodile. If you don't have a crocodile, use anything that you have to punch your holes. Now I'm going to come in, I'm going to punch my hole in between my score mark and the end, and I'm going to come over probably about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to punch my hole there. I'm going to do the same on the other side, about 3/4 of an inch, and just in the center of that, and punch my hole there. And then I'm going to use this one as a template to punch the others. So just lay the one on there that you just got through punching and use it as a template to punch your others. Alright, after you get all those punched, then what you want to do is take your cover, and yes, I did change the color of my cover just because I used so much purple in here. I had so many purple scraps, but I'll use that other cover for another one. And I had this in my stash where I had already punched for something else, and I had a piece of it, so I just put that on there. That's just using a border punch. So what you want to do is lay this in there, put the end right up to your score line, the first score line, and then just center it up and take your crocodile, and hopefully it'll go in that far. And then punch your holes in one side. And then you just want to flip it over and put it right up to that put it right up to your score mark on that side and center it up just like we did on the other one. And then put your crocodile in there. Clean it out first, of course. Put it in there and punch your hole. Turn it around. And do your other. Okay, so we've got all our holes punched. Now we want to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and decorate my cover before I put everything else on. So I've already got that there, and this was just another piece of, it come off of these. I just cut it out and it says one of a kind, and I liked that. Looks like a postage stamp. So this matches the paper that we've got on the inside. So I'm going to put that down, and I think I'm going to put it at an angle like that. And then this, I cut out from one of those cutouts as well. I just fussy cut it. And I think I'm going to put it like right there, because that looks like airmail. So we will put that right there. And then I want a piece of bling in the center right there. So I'm thinking this one will probably work. Oh yeah, I like that one in there. So let's put a little glue on the back of that, since I'm thinking all the glue has already come off of it. And with this glue, you do not have to worry about any that squishes out, because it does dry clear, so that's good. And now I'm going to go ahead and ink my edges, because I want them a little bit distressed looking. I inked the edges on all of the parts that I put on the cover. I'm going to ink my ends, binding. Okay, and I don't know if I'm going to put anything on the back of this one or not. I have a couple of pieces, but I think all of them are a little bit big. I may put that, I could cut that out and put that on there. That would fit, maybe. Well, no, it won't fit. Because of that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I could trim that one and put that there. Just trim the green off. So I'll put that one on the back so that I can put a name on it or write something on there. Okay. That's cute. Alright, now all we need to do is put our ribbon in, and let's see, I think I'm going to go with this green ribbon. It'll match the inside and it'll match there. Now you could put eyelets in here to reinforce those if you want. I'm not going to. but you could always put eyelets in there. You just need to start at the back with your ribbon. Put it through the back first. And just make sure that that's kind of straight. And then you're ready to, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room on this side. Then you're ready to start with your pages. And I'm going to see if mine are separated a little bit. That one next. That one. And then that one. And then that one, and that one. Okay. So you want to take your page, the one that you want on the back, and you want to lay it this way and run your ribbon up through it. And then do the same on the other side. And then just pull it down. So there. Okay, so we have finished putting our pages in. Got all of them in there, and I went ahead and cut my tags and put my tags in. Now my tags are 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Yours may be a different size depending on your envelopes, but this is just some satin ribbon that I had. I pulled it through there, so you can see it's on through the back, and just tied a bow. And that is it. It is ready for photos, whatever. And as you can see, the pages do bend back so that you can, everybody can look at the pictures or whatever. But that is the simple mini, but yet it's using up all of those scrap envelopes that you have, that you get through the mail. That we get tons of them. I don't know about everybody else. It's supposed to be a paperless world, but it is not, is it? Okay, our ATG tape. This is going to be our YouTube teaser this week. We got a really good deal on ATG tape. So we will have this up as our YouTube teaser. And the password will be ATG for ATG tape. This is 1/4 inch by 36 yards by 36 yards. So if you need ATG tape, come over and grab some. We bought a whole case, so we have 144 of these that we're going to put on a very special deal. So we will talk to you guys later. We'll be back tomorrow with another video, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and leave us a comment below letting me know what you think about these little mini albums, and who knows, you may just get one in the mail. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.